Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome once again to another Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about Space 1999. And as so often happens in the past, I've already recorded this podcast, so forgive me if I repeat myself yet again. But I had to mess about with the podcast recording schedules in order to bring this one to you, because I kind of needed to spread the word now, while it was still new. For those of you who've been following the UFO podcast, you'll be more than aware of my love for the Gerry Anderson-ness. And of course, historically speaking, there was talk of making a second series of UFO. They'd started building new Moonbase sets and the like, and then the plug was pulled. This makes me very sad, and that's the kind of way things are. And then, eventually, they brought the storylines and everything back together and gave a new series to good old Lou Grade and said, hey, what about this? And they introduced Space 1999, which, arguably, is the British answer to Star Trek. More of an international feel. It's some people boldly going, or to boldly... They're travelling across the universe. They're boldly going across the universe, encountering aliens and that kind of thing. Yes, there's very few... Well, there's not as many torn shirts, but you can see the argument, because let's face it, we'd had Star Trek, and it wasn't until 3 years later that we ended up with Star Wars. So this was the height of sci-fi. It did have a 2001 feel to it, but then again, so did UFO. It's definitely of the same stamp as UFO. It's live action, and it consists of one storyline where the moon gets blasted out of orbit because it's got dodgy nuclear radiation waste on one side, and then travels the universe. Yeah, the science is ropey. In the same storyline, in the very first episode, they've got a strange alien signal going off somewhere else in the universe, and they're all going to travel towards it. At the end of the episode, this is completely ignored and never ever repeated. It's like, yes, let's never talk of it again. It's quite... Well, it looks great. When you're watching it, you're along for the ride, and you're like, yeah, this is brilliant. But it's only afterwards where you think going, does the science work? The answer, of course, is it doesn't. Any explosion big enough to move the moon out of orbit would destroy the moon. That's the layman's explanation, but it is basically true. So, that's the TV Space 1999. You've got Martin Landau, who eventually won an Oscar for his Plan from Outer Space, but it doesn't matter. You've got Barbara Bain, who's still with us, and they're the parents of the person who played Drusilla in Buffy, for those fan facts out there. She would have been great. She's a superb actress. You've got Barry Morse in Series 1, who gets replaced by the woman with corn glued to her face, who's an animal shape changer in Series 2. Very dubious. People either love Series 1 or Series 2, but they usually don't love both. I have respect for them both. But as you know, we were going to record a UFO podcast, and that just didn't... Well, that finished. Real life got in the way, and we did talk about doing Space 1999, but I think we'd be just a little bit too sarcastic. If you are interested in that, you can get back to us at the usual email address. But that's not what's important. What is important is that Big Finish have finally got together and brought us this, Space 1999 Breakaway, which is a feature-length story. It lasts about an hour and a half version of the original text. Now, all of the flaws of the original, stuff like the science not working and the storylines not fitting together and the characters not being particularly well drawn out, they've all been rewritten and given back to us fixed, better. It's as if Nick got the original script, hadn't seen the series, and then he sat down and went, right, I was a script editor, how can I make this better? And then he started rewriting and ended up redoing the whole thing. The Metaprobe storyline works, the strange particles, the radiation, the science. Just a few extra lines on TV would have fixed this, and it works better here. The humanisation of the characters is brilliant. Yes, Barbara Bain's character, Dr. Helena, she's been turned into a bit of a sweary Mary. She's a lot more hard-bitten, which the character kind of needed, rather than just staring off into a Vaseline-covered lens for half an episode, which is what happened on TV. As you can hear, the sarcasm really can't go anywhere. I can't recommend this particular release enough. Now, some people out there are wondering and worrying whether they need to have experienced original Space 1999 in order to get this. Forget it. You just need this. Start again. Start here. You don't need the TV series. Just do this version. It's brilliant. Yes, it's set in the distant future of 20 years ago, but let's just forgive it. Let's just say it's an alternative timeline, and that's what we're going to go for. Because you don't need to have strange, spurious, fan-based ideas about them all being dead and they're actually ghosts travelling the universe and that's what's gone on, or anything like that. None of that's needed here. All you get is people taken from around the world and what happens to them. Yes, the space station's incredible, but all of the original sound effects are here, and that makes everything just go so much better and smoother. I can't recommend this enough. Genuinely. It's just great. So I'm going to let you judge for yourself, because, before I go, can I just say that Benji Clifford's produced a version of the theme tune which is superb. Seriously, fantastic listening. It's just magnificent. Yes, the original has too many wah-wah pedals for its own good, but you know what? It was the 70s, you can let it go. Here's the trailer, you can decide for yourself, but as far as I'm concerned, if you miss this, you've missed an absolute gem. So until next time, be seeing you.
From Big Finish Productions.
This is Earth Orbiter Station 1 controller to Eagle Shuttle 4409. You are cleared for departure to Moonbase Alpha.
Right now, for all you space enthusiasts out there, it's Space 1999.
I'm detecting a spike in vital signs.
Coffee, Commander Koenig? Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks.
Welcome to the program, Commissioner.
Very happy to be here, Petra.
My big moment.
Paul! Paul Morrow, is that you?
Commander Koenig!
The pilot's out cold. I got a total computer shutdown here, Paul. Something hit us.
Oh, Victor. Oh, it's good to see you.
He's breaking through, John! Stun him!
But I've got another astronaut sick, just like the others, just as hopeless.
How many more people are gonna have to die, Simmons?
Paul!
Commander, there's a problem with Eagle 4 on approach to Sector 2.
Breakaway immediately. That's an order. Breakaway.
Moonbase Alpha, 13 September 1999.
This is Dr. Helena Russell. Put me through to Metaprobe Commander Alan Carter.
What's this? Not making house calls anymore, Doctor?
Sector 2's exploding! My God!
It's like they're watching us.
The moon and the Earth are safe.
People are dying out there, John.
Recall all Eagles.
What exactly happening out there? Find out. Can we get through to Moonbase Alpha?
It's only us who might get our socks blown off, Simmons.
Space 1999. Breakaway.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.